Have you ever felt like life is just this endless, exhausting rat race?
Oh, absolutely. Like you're running day in and day out.
Right. And you aren't even entirely sure where the finish line is.
Uh,
Or, if there even is one at all.
yeah, exactly. It's just a constant grind.
Well, the author of today's source material, Dosti Regmi, he shared this deeply striking anecdote about that exact feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a really busy doctor in Kathmandu, completely overwhelmed by his medical studies and his profession. And one day, he's just rushing through the streets on his motorbike.
Like darting through traffic and everything.
Exactly, darting through traffic, trying to get from one hospital to another. And he catches himself aggressively overtaking an ambulance.
Wait, an ambulance?
An ambulance.
Yeah.
I mean, in that moment, the sheer absurdity of it just hit him.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine.
He realized his life was wildly out of control, like he was heading toward a finish line that was simply his own death.
That's a profound wake-up call. That realization of just being trapped in a cycle of endless doing without ever simply being.
Exactly.
And it's that exact realization that gave birth to the story we are exploring today.
It is. So welcome to this deep dive into the English translation of the Nepali novel Paramita, The Perfect and Transcendent.
It's quite a journey.
It really is. Our mission today is to follow the protagonist, Anna, on this gripping, intensely bittersweet trajectory.
Right.
We're going to track his journey from, crushing addiction and heartbreak to a really profound spiritual awakening.
And we aren't just summarizing a novel today.
No, definitely not. We're extracting the specific philosophies that save his life because, they might just help you navigate your own.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where does Anna's journey actually begin?
Well, the story sets up what seems like a classic romantic encounter, right? But it's actually this really intense study in psychological projection. So Anna is a management student. And during a class hike to the beautiful Sundarijal forest and Chisapani, he falls instantly and just obsessively in love with his classmate.
Right, Priyadarshini.
Yeah, Priyadarshini.
And the text describes her as this incredibly serene, modest, deeply spiritual person.
Very much so.
There's this one scene where they visit a Buddhist stupa in Buddha, and she introduces Anna to the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum.
Right. A very famous mantra.
Yeah. And she explains that it symbolizes the gem of wisdom resting on the lotus of compassion.
Which is beautiful.
It is. And to Anna, Priyadarshini herself represents that pure lotus flower. But I'm gathering there's a massive disconnect between how he views her and how he views himself.
Oh, a massive disconnect. I mean, Anna is hiding a really dark secret beneath this whole infatuation.
Right.
While he projects this image of pure devotion toward her, he is secretly battling severe substance abuse.
Wow.
Yeah, he's addicted to marijuana, cigarettes, and nitrovat pills, which are strong sedatives. Okay. So his daily baseline is entirely defined by chemical dependency. He's basically using her perceived spiritual purity as like a psychological counterbalance to his own internal chaos.
Oh, man. And he eventually confesses this addiction to her.
Yeah, he does. And she issues a really firm ultimatum.
Mm-hmm.
She tells him she is suspending her love until he can stay clean for 1 full month.
Suspending her love. Wow. That is a severe test.
It's intense.
Yeah, and the text describes his withdrawal as agonizing. We're talking nightmares, intense irritability, profound feelings of worthlessness.
Just brutal.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks in, he messages her about his progress, but her response is, minimal.
Right. She reiterates that her love is still suspended.
Right. Suspended, so he feels unappreciated, starts doubting her affection entirely, and he relapses massively.
Yeah.
So why is that perceived rejection the breaking point for him?
Well, addiction really thrives on isolation and a fragile sense of self-worth. When Anna is white-knuckling his way through withdrawal, his motivation is entirely external.
Oh, because he's doing it for her.
Exactly. He's doing it for her approval, not his own health. So the moment he feels his effort isn't being validated, his internal narrative just shifts instantly.
From I am healing to I am an unlovable addict.
Precisely. He lacks the internal scaffolding to handle that emotional distress, so he just seeks immediate chemical relief from the psychological pain.
And that desire for relief takes him to a pretty dark place, the Pashupatnath creation grounds.
Yeah, a very intense environment.
Right. Sitting among the burning pyres, he strikes up a conversation with an Agori Baba. And my understanding is that these are ascetics who literally live in graveyards, practicing extreme rituals to transcend worldly attachments.
That's correct.
So Anna asks the Baba what Agor actually means. And the Baba explains that Gor represents suffering and difficulty, And Augor is the practice of finding beauty and ease beyond that suffering.
Which is, frankly, a profound ancient philosophy regarding non-attachment.
Right.
The idea is to look at death and decay and realize that the soul remains completely untouched. But Anna, he weaponizes this concept.
To justify his own self-destruction, right?
Exactly. He twists this beautiful idea of finding beauty beyond suffering into a convenient excuse to just numb himself.
Wow.
He claims he's achieving the state of Augor by smoking copious amounts of marijuana with the Baba. He literally mistakes the dullness of intoxication for actual spiritual transcendence.
Wait, so he essentially convinces himself that getting unimaginably high in a graveyard makes him an enlightened ascetic.
Yeah.
That is some terrifying mental gymnastics.
It is the ultimate self-deception. And, I mean, it leads to an absolute disaster.
I bet.
The massive mix of marijuana and those Nitrovat pills triggers what psychiatrists call substance-induced acute psychotic disorder.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. The sheer volume of dopamine flooding his brain just shatters his connection to reality. He becomes deeply paranoid, screaming at imaginary enemies.
Wow.
Losing all sense of time and self. And he ends up admitted to a psychiatric ward, physically restrained to a bed.
That is, the crash that follows just sounds devastating.
It is.
The medications bring him back to Earth, but they leave him in this state of clinical depression. And this is where Priyadarshini actually visits him in the de-addiction ward.
Right.
She brings him this vibrant bunch of cymbidium orchids, and she forgives him. She hugs him and tells him they will get through it together.
She offers exactly what he wanted.
Right. And I have to push back on Anna's reaction here. Because he loves this woman. He wants her more than anything. Yet when she offers the exact lifeline he's been chasing, forgiveness, love, support, he pushes her away.
Yep.
He writes her a letter saying he is a barren land and she is a pure seed, and he refuses to taint her. Why reject the exact help you were begging for?
What's fascinating here is that reaction perfectly illustrates the insidious mechanics of depression. It's not merely a state of sadness, it's a fundamental distortion of cognition. The depressed mind constantly anticipates future pain and failure.
Like a depression is a computer virus. Yeah, like it specifically targets and deletes your self-worth files. It rewrites your operating system so that you reject the very help you desperately need, convincing you that you just don't deserve it.
I love that. The virus analogy holds up really well, because when Anna looks at those beautiful cymbidium flowers Priyadarshini brought, he doesn't experience their vibrant colors or their scent.
Right.
His distorted cognition only registers the inevitable fact that they will eventually wither and die.
Oh, wow.
And he projects that exact same fatalism onto her love. He pushes her away because his illness convinces him that he's actually protecting her from his own toxic, inevitable failure.
That is heartbreaking.
It really is. He had to hit absolute rock bottom before realizing that external love couldn't save him from his own internal landscape.
And rock bottom actually has a basement in this story.
Oh, yeah. It gets worse.
Sometime later, he attends Priyadarshini's wedding to another man.
Agonizing.
He watches her smile with her new husband, witnessing the exact life he threw away. And the traditional wedding music sounds like a war conch to his ears.
Wow.
He runs to the restroom, stares at his own face in the mirror, and is so consumed by self-hatred that he actually spits at his own reflection.
Such a visceral moment.
But in that absolute lowest moment, a switch flips. He remembers Priyadarshini telling him he has to save himself from himself.
Yes.
He looks in the mirror and resolves, I have to awaken another Anna to defeat the Anna of gloom.
And that mirror scene represents the transition from the first phase of his journey, which is Vedana, or the trap of sensations, into the second phase.
Okay.
It illustrates a crucial psychological principle. A problem created on one level of consciousness cannot be solved on that same level.
Right.
He cannot think his way out of depression using the very mind that is generating the depression.
He needs a different perspective entirely.
Exactly.
So he leaves Kathmandu behind and travels to the remote far west of Nepal to work on his father's hydroengineering project. And this begins his search for insight or pragya.
Right.
But he stumbles immediately, like day one.
Yeah.
He lands in Tangadi, gets drunk, and suffers a horrific hangover.
Classic self-sabotage.
Yeah, the text describes him vomiting all night, just filled with shame. But then a local man sent by his father, Cheriste, steps in to help. Now, the book notes that Cheriste is an Osho sannyasin, What exactly does that mean in this context?
Well, a sannyasins traditionally is someone who renounces worldly life for spiritual pursuit.
Okay.
But in the context of the modern teacher Osho, a sannyasin is simply a disciple committed to radical self-exploration and meditation while remaining in the everyday world.
I see.
And Chitra's Day introduces Anna to a vastly different approach to calming the mind. Osho's dynamic meditation.
Okay, I am struggling to picture this working. Anna is violently hungover, steeped in self-loathing, and this guy convinces him to do what exactly? Like jump around a room?
I know it sounds crazy, but dynamic meditation is chaotic by design.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people think of meditation as sitting quietly in the lotus position. But for a highly agitated, traumatized mind, what Buddhists call the monkey mind sitting still is essentially torture.
The anxiety just loops louder, right?
Exactly. So dynamic meditation involves an active process of jumping, crying, screaming, and dancing.
Wow.
The mechanism here is purely physiological. You are intentionally exhausting the sympathetic nervous system.
Okay.
You're forcing the body to release the physical tension associated with repressed emotions. Only after this intense physical catharsis is the body tired enough to naturally drop into silence.
So he actually screams out his frustration.
Yeah.
He cries over Priyadarshini. He punches the air.
Yep.
And when the instructor finally yells stop, Anna experiences a genuine, thoughtless peace for the first time.
It's powerful.
The physical exhaustion essentially overrides his mental looping. It's a huge first step.
Yeah.
But his journey takes him even further into the remote mountains to a place called Badamalika.
Beautiful area.
And here he meets an ascetic known simply as Babaji, who teaches him about Advaita Vedanta.
Right. Advaita Vedanta is a school of Hindu philosophy focusing on non-dualism.
Okay.
Babaji teaches Anna the concept of the soul as Sat Chit Anand, which translates to true, pleasurable consciousness.
Sat Chit Anand.
Exactly. Babaji explains the distinction between the mind and the soul. The mind is a restless mechanism, right? Constantly reacting to the environment, oscillating between happiness and sadness.
Right, the monkey mind.
Yes. The soul, however, is the silent, unchanging witness observing the mind. It doesn't react. It is always complete.
And Anna really takes this lesson to heart. He's meditating alone in his dark room, closing his eyes, focusing intensely. Suddenly, he sees a bright rectangular light. And he is overjoyed. He's thinking his Ajna chakra, his kundalini energy, is finally awakening.
He thinks she's made it.
He genuinely believes he is achieving samadhi, the highest state of enlightenment. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He opens his eyes, turns off the solar bulb in the room, closes his eyes again, and sees a round light.
Oh, no.
He realizes that the quote-unquote divine light he was seeing wasn't spiritual enlightenment at all. It was just the visual afterimage burned into his retina from staring at his mobile phone screen and the light bulb.
It is a hilarious moment, honestly, but it serves as a brilliant reality check for the modern spiritual seeker.
It reminds me of a fast food drive-thru.
How so?
Well, we often treat spirituality like a quick transaction. You know, we want to pull up to the window, order the ultimate high of enlightenment with all the mystical fireworks, and just drive off without doing any of the actual difficult work of facing our deepest flaws.
That is so true. And Babaji lovingly reprimands him for this exact tendency.
Yeah.
He introduces a concept often called spiritual materialism. He tells Anna that desiring enlightenment purely for the pleasurable sensation or as an escape from reality is really no different from smoking marijuana.
It's just another drug.
Exactly. It's using meditation as just another intoxicant to avoid the present moment. So Babaji advises him to stop chasing mystical visual effects and instead be a light unto yourself. He urges Anna to cultivate grounded, everyday awareness.
Which is so much harder than chasing a high.
Oh, absolutely.
And Anna encounters another facet of this grounded awareness when he travels to Rara Lake. He meets Sylvia Smith, who is this 70-year-old foreign psychiatrist who visits Nepal yearly for Vipassana meditation.
Right.
How does Vipassana differ from the dynamic jumping or the non-dualism he just learned?
Well, Vipassana translates to seeing things as they really are. It is a practice of profound self-observation without judgment.
Okay.
Sylvia shares her own history of a painful divorce, and she offers Anna a vital metaphor. She compares the human mind to a lake.
A lake.
Yes. One side of the lake is samsara, characterized by suffering, craving, and restlessness. The other side is nirvana, characterized by peace and clarity.
Okay.
But here's the key. They aren't two different lakes. They're both aspects of the exact same mind.
So the lesson being that you don't acquire peace from some external force. You just sit quietly and observe the turbulence of your own mind until the sediment naturally settles and the water becomes clear.
Beautifully said, yes.
Armed with this synthesis of insight, Anna returns to Kathmandu. And this brings us to the third phase of his journey, Bodhi, or Buddhahood.
The final stage.
It is the phase of healing others, because honestly, all this philosophical insight is utterly useless if it shatters the moment you return to real-world stress.
Oh, exactly. Anna's return to the city is the ultimate test of his new internal state. He resumes his engineering studies, he reconciles with his father, and he's no longer reacting impulsively to stressors. He has finally integrated the realization that he is the observer, not the reaction.
The novel illustrates this beautifully. He starts viewing his mind as a cinema screen.
Oh, I love this metaphor.
Right. His thoughts, his passing anxieties, his urges,
Yeah.
they're just a movie playing. When the movie ends, the screen itself remains empty, unaffected, and full of infinite possibilities.
Exactly.
He isn't the movie, he is the screen. But this newfound stability is immediately challenged when he reconnects with his childhood friend, Supriya.
Yeah, and Supriya's situation is incredibly heavy.
It is.
She is a survivor of a recent suicide attempt following the sudden death of her mother. And she's also estranged from her father, who is just drowning in financial debt.
Right.
To cope with this immense trauma, she has heavily intellectualized her depression.
She identifies with these deeply tragic literary and philosophical figures.
very much so.
She compares herself to Sisyphus, cursed by the gods to push a boulder up a hill for eternity. She relates to Esther Greenwood in Sylvia Plath's novel The Bell Jar, feeling trapped and suffocating in her own stale, recycled air.
Yeah.
She even latches onto Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of eternal recurrence, the terrifying philosophical idea that we are doomed to repeat our exact sufferings over and over, forever.
It's a dark place to be.
It really is. Let me ask you listening right now, have you ever trapped yourself in your own bell jar of negative thoughts? Breathing in the exact same stale anxieties day after day, convincing yourself that your suffering is some grand, unsolvable philosophical problem.
It's such a common defense mechanism, especially in profound grief. We build these intricate intellectual fortresses around our pain to shield ourselves from feeling the raw emotion. We use philosophy to explain why we are suffering, but those fortresses inevitably become prisons.
And Anna recognizes this prison because he used to live in one.
Exactly.
But you can't just tell someone in that state to look on the bright side. So how does he actually dismantle her intellectual fortress?
Well, he counters her abstract philosophies with immediate, tangible reality.
Okay.
He tells her she doesn't need to smash the bell jar to escape it. She just needs to step out of her thoughts and into the present moment.
Right.
So he takes her to the Garden of Dreams, which is a serene historical oasis right in the middle of chaotic Kathmandu. And instead of arguing philosophy, he guides her through a sensory grounding exercise.
He directs her attention to the physical world. Focus on the texture of the green grass.
Yeah.
Listen to the specific sound of the birds. Pay attention to the rhythm of your breath.
Yes.
He proves to her, experientially, that peace isn't some distant goal you have to suffer to achieve. It's accessible right now, in the present moment, if you stop projecting into the future or agonizing over the past.
And that moment of sensory clarity is completely transformative for Supriya. Once she steps outside the narrative of eternal suffering, she views her life with fresh eyes. She realizes that holding on to her resentment toward her father is really only poisoning her own lake, so to speak.
Right.
Operating from this place of present moment awareness, she actually finds the strength to forgive him, and she takes practical action. She sells a piece of land she inherited to pay off his crushing debts.
Wow. And by lifting his financial burden, she unburdens her own soul. The resentment was the anchor holding her underwater.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Anna's journey has reached its philosophical conclusion.
How do you mean?
Well, think about where he started in the first chapters. He was a desperate addict, trying to extract love from Priyadarshini and peace from sedatives just to fill a massive internal void.
He was entirely a consumer of sensation.
Right. But by the end of the narrative, he has become a generator of peace.
Wow.
He found the source of stability within himself, and he selflessly offers that presence to Supriya. He isn't taking anymore, he's guiding.
And the story concludes on a deeply poetic note on Supriya's 21st birthday.
I love this part.
They go out to celebrate, sharing an ice cream dessert named 21st Love. It symbolizes that Anna has finally found a healthy, reciprocal, grounding connection.
Yeah.
He even visits a tattoo parlor. Remember that impulsive Priya tattoo he got on his arm during his obsessive infatuation phase?
Oh, right.
He doesn't get it lasered off.
Right.
He asks the artist to add the letters SU in front of it, permanently transforming the tattoo into Supriya.
That detail encapsulates the entire psychological thesis of the book.
It really does.
He doesn't erase his past, his terrible mistakes, or his profound heartbreak. He integrates them.
Right.
Our past pain is not an error in the system. It is the raw material required for awakening.
Our past heartbreaks, our Priya moments, can literally be transformed and integrated into our future happiness, our Supriya.
Exactly. Looking at the entire arc of Paramita, Dosti Regmi lays out a really comprehensive blueprint here. Anna moves through 3 distinct phases of human development. First, Vedana, the trap of sensations, where the mind is enslaved by addiction and the endless pursuit of external validation.
Right.
Second, Pragya, the journey of insight, where the individual strips away their illusions, including the illusion of magical spiritual cures, and learns to simply observe the mechanics of their own mind.
Yeah.
And finally, Bodhi, awakening, where that hard-won internal peace is used to navigate the real world and help heal others.
So what does this all mean? How do we bring these ancient Eastern philosophies and Anna's intense visceral journey down to earth for your daily life?
It's the big question.
The core takeaway from Paramita is that peace of mind and the joy of the soul are never found by chasing external highs.
No, they aren't.
They aren't waiting for you at the bottom of a pill bottle, or in the validation of an obsessive romance, or even by running away to a remote mountaintop expecting spiritual fireworks to suddenly fix your flaws.
Exactly.
True peace is found by emptying the boat of the mind. It's found by observing your chaotic thoughts without judging them, and by cultivating the immense courage required to live entirely, fully in the present moment.
Beautifully said.
I want to thank you for taking this journey with us today. We've covered vital ground, from the crowded streets of Kathmandu to the tranquil shores of Rara Lake, straight into the intricate depths of the human psyche.
It is a journey that demands we look honestly at our own behavioral patterns. We all have our own addictions, whether they involve actual substances, toxic relationships, or simply an addiction to our own familiar negative thought loops.
Right.
And the first step to breaking them is simply noticing they exist.
Which brings me back to that metaphor we explored earlier. Think about your mind as a cinema screen. Your current anxieties, your relentless daily stresses, your deep-seated fears about the future, they are nothing more than the movie that happens to be playing right now.
Just a movie.
They're just projections of light and shadow dancing across your consciousness. But the screen itself, the screen remains untouched, unburned, and unbroken.
Always.
So I leave you with this. If you are the screen and the anxiety is just the movie playing right now, what happens if you consciously decide today to just change the reel?